Good day everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to get some of this amplifier or as much of it put together as I can. So that involves drilling the holes in PCBs, soldering components on the PCBs, mounting boards on the heatsink, all that sort of stuff. Something has just popped into my mind, but the last video I made, I forgot something. It only came to mind after I uploaded the video, and I didn't want to wait another 2 hours to, re-upload it, edit it, all that sort of thing. I had said that I was going to use BC546 and BC556 here. I was having a think about this last night, and again, I wasn't thinking about my voltages. If we have 55 volts across, and these transistors are only rated for 65 volts, well, if you think about what happens when one transistor's on, right, the other one's got the load voltage and the open voltage across it. Essentially, it's going to see almost the whole rail voltage. Even when it's just turning half on, you add the bias voltage to that and it's still over half. So it's, yeah, this is not going to work. I need to put something bigger. I may go back with what's already here, 2SC3, 206, 2SA1024, but I don't really want to use those, so I'm going to have a look around. I've got heaps of transistors. I don't see any reason why I'm going to have to use those. I've got other higher voltage transistors. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go and select transistors. I've got another little bit of good news too. I'll take the camera over here. So as I've been saying, sorry about that, I've been waiting for this to arrive. So I got more pots because I'm almost out of 500 ohm pots. And after putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each of these amplifiers, where are they? Oh no, those are resistors, my bad. 5. Yeah, that's all I've got of 500 ohms, and some of those don't even have 3 legs on them. The ones I've already used for experiments and stuff. So same with my 10-turn ones. So I ordered some more of those. I ordered another 10 of these emitter resistors. I've already still got some, but my logic, where is the drawer? Oh. My logic is that with this and the 10 I've just ordered, if I smoke an amp or two worth of output stages, I hope I don't, but if I do, I've got transistors and emitter resistors ready to go. I've ordered 1/4 watt carbon resistors in all the values I'm running out of. There are more values here than what's in the amp because I've used them for other things too, but what I was thinking of doing is maybe using these ones instead of the little miniature ones in the amp build. Just because they're a bit bigger, they're going to have, I would think, less inductance. It should be better. I don't know if I'm actually going to bother or not, but I'm thinking about it. Anyway, tip 41s, tip 42s, they are the same ones I ordered from the same seller I ordered before. So I've got, I can't get that to show in the light. I mean, without the light, sorry. There we go. So these are a different batch, which is what I wanted. They all are. I've already had a look at the numbers. Where I didn't get lucky was the 2SC5200s and 2SA 1943s. These look like batch numbers I've already got. Oh well. I didn't buy a huge amount this time, as you can see, because I didn't want to, spend a crap ton of money just to get the same batch. I got more of these old school transistors. What are these? 2SA1302s and 3281s. 2SA3281s. I got a couple of bags of those. So I've got plenty of those now too. That Yamaha AX700 amplifier that I've got to rebuild, these are going to probably be what's used in the output stage. I can't remember what sort of drivers it's got, but I might end up using those or something even better. But yeah, these are just voltage regulators. So yeah, components have arrived. I'm only waiting on one more thing to arrive, and that's some capacitors. Like it's a 47 mic, 100 mic, and I think 470 mic, but at a higher voltage, like I think they're 250 or 150 volts or something like that. Surprisingly, with all the stuff I have in here, I still didn't have all the right capacitors that I needed for this. It's the story of my life, you know. Every time I build something, I think, oh yeah, you know, this is going to be a breeze with the lab I've got. I'm just going to choose my values and turn around and grab everything out the drawers and come back and get to building. And I turn around, I go to my drawers, and I realize I still do not have that one thing. Anyway, so I'm going to go start drilling holes in boards and selecting transistors. I'll go select the transistors first and come back and we'll talk about that. I need to match them too, so we'll do that first, and then I'll go drill the holes up and we'll get to building these amplifiers. So I wanted to talk about something just quickly before I get onto these boards. I've been meaning to actually go over this quite a few times, but I keep forgetting. So these resistors that I have probably confuse the hell out of a lot of people, because I refer to these as half watt and these as quarter watt, and they actually are. However, these are miniature half watt metal film, so they're actually a miniature version of the half watt. That's why they're actually half the size. Now, I use these in place of quarter watt because they are bigger in size and rated for half a watt. The temperature coefficient you get, the resistor doesn't heat up as much. It can dissipate more heat into the atmosphere, so you get a more stable resistor, if that makes sense. Now these, the reason I have these is just because this is what JCar happens to sell. JCar sell these too, but I buy these by choice. These, they're quarter watt resistor kits. I'll just show you quickly. Wow, I'm not used to the new catalogue. Why on earth would you... Oh no, it's still here. I was going to say, why would you lay it out different? Alright, where are they? So look, metal film, mini size, half watt, quarter watt carbon film, and if I go to the resistor packs, if they still have them, this is the new catalogue. So any stock that's changed, yes, here we are. So, oh, sorry, it's actually this one that I've got. Ultimate Resistor Pack, 1700 pieces. Quarter watt. Ah, my focus is locked. My apologies. Quarter watt, 5% miniature sized carbon film. So they look like 1/8 watt, and they do. They are the same size as 1/8 watt resistors. So just to clarify that, if anyone ever gets confused when I refer to those as quarter watt and half watt, they are. Now, why I thought I'd mention this is because I just ordered some resistors to replace my quarter watt resistors I'm running out of. And I was looking at them, I realised I finally got a perfect example. And that's what a normal quarter watt resistor usually looks like. So, you know, it's the same size as a half watt. So it's going to be confusing. And actually, I do have a 1 watt resistor. I'll go get some. Give me a minute. Sorry, that's a 1 watt resistor, a half watt resistor, sorry. 1 second. Alright, I just got a couple of these out my drawer. These might actually be 3/4, but I'm pretty sure they're half watt. I'll go get some other ones. I've got another little drawer here that's got some board pulled resistors in it. might have a better example of a 1 watt resistor in here. Sorry, a half watt resistor. No, I think they are half watt resistors. Oh, yeah, no, that's probably a better example. That would be a half watt resistor, yeah. So, you know, actually they probably are half watt resistors, yeah, they are. You never know, but because, I mean, you get miniature size ones and non-miniature size rated ones, so it's hard to just take a guess just looking at a resistor as such. But anyhow, I just wanted to clarify that for anyone that's confused, or not just confused, trying to work out what I'm actually using. What I am stating is what I'm using. It just looks like there's something else. That's all. Oh, I've got to get this on camera. 100 kilohertz inductance in parallel. This is a 1/4 watt carbon film, miniature size, 10 ohm. $135, $140. I'm just trying to get the lead length the same size as what I'm about to measure. So that's 140. I think I had 150 before. Let me just make sure. I don't see why a resistor would read different in one direction to another. It's probably more a contact thing. Anyway, 130. Now these are the bigger size, again carbon film 1/4 watt, but not miniature, right? There's more inductance there. Everyone on the audio forums and amplifier building forums and all that sort of thing always swears that the bigger resistors are better and the smaller ones are more inductive and it ruins the sound and this and that. That's bloody hilarious. They're more inductive than them. You know what I'm using? The miniature ones. That settles it. Why would I put something more inductive where there's frequency going through it, a signal, that I want to preserve the integrity of? That just doesn't make sense. So that's definitely staying in there. The only metal film ones are for the Zobel and for lower value things like 120 ohms and lower than that. So I'll go sort out the transistors now. Alright, I've been doing a little bit of data sheet reading. Whoops, I've got my focus locked. Okay, there you go. So these are the transistors I was originally using. I've been having a look at them against 2SC 945s and 2SA 733s. And I'm also considering MPSA 42s and 92s. I'm leaning towards the MPSA 4292s or the original ones I had in there. So what I've decided to do now is come back over here. Let me go grab the original ones, because I do remember I checked them for HFE before. I think I might have to pause the video because I can't actually remember where I've put them. Yeah, 1 minute, sorry about this. Okay, it's all good, I found them. So I'll just try not to touch them. There goes that. These are so small you really get the temperature into them quick and change the VB. I remember having a look at some before, but I can't remember if I tested them all or not. So let's have a quick look. If these 94688, if these are too far off, I'll use something else. 94,688. That'll do. $164,700. I just have this feeling that I rushed it last time without actually looking at all of them, and I just realized, there could be a couple of matches here. It might not be as bad as it looks, so that's why I thought I'd have a quick look again. I'm not reading what they are, I'm just putting all the ones that are the same, close in numbers, on one piece of paper and all the other ones on the other, and then afterwards I'll have a look and see if we've got matches, or if they're all, one page is all the PNP and the other page is all the NPN, basically. Because I've only got this 8 here, I don't have any more. Actually, that doesn't make sense. 1 minute. No, that is all I have. I'm going to order more of these. 142698. Because I want to have all my transistors stocked up that are going to get used in amplifier building, because I'm getting back into that now. And I want to be able to use matched transistors, and you all know how that is. You need to buy a lot of transistors to get matched sets. Unless you buy them matched in pairs, but anyway. If these last 3 are all low numbers, I'm going to bet my bottom dollar, is that how the saying goes? That I've got high gain NPN or PNP and low of the other. Hey, that's a high number. 192,688. That's interesting. Don't tell me that these are actually all close and there's just one oddball one. You've got to be kidding me. No, man. No, please don't do this. I think it is. That sucks. That really sucks. I wanted to use them. Another low one. 83,684. These numbers aren't going to be that accurate because I'm holding these clips and the heat will be getting transferred from the plastic that's warmed up into these two, so the numbers will be slowly changing. That happens with these really small devices fast. You'd be quite surprised. $91,688. So 688, 684, 688, 700, 703, 698. Hold on, 698. 702, 688. VBs on most of them are close, but HFE we've got 164, 138, 142, 147, 192, but then on the other sheet we've got 94, 83, 91. So, just having a look. They are all A1024s, the low numbers. But for some reason, the 192 is also an A1024. Let me just rewrite this so it makes sense for you guys. Alright, so essentially got that, and then this. So the VBA is great. They're all matched perfectly, but I don't know why I've got this oddball one that's got twice the gain of everything else. Tough decision to make here. I really wanted to use these. I think, you know what, look, I don't want to use tip 41s and tip 42s as the drivers, especially now I've got these really good output transistors. So I'm going to, after these amps are built and we play around with all different types of components, values of components, different front ends, I'm going to experiment with different driver transistors, different buffer transistors, different front end transistors, you know. I'll just leave this till then because I'm going to order some of these. I found matched sets of these that are only $16.80, I think it was, or $50, something like that, $16 something. If they're the ones that are in the picture, they're original. So I'm going to get them. When they come, you know, I'll look into that using those. For now, I'm just going to go with the 42s and 92s. Now, I don't have too many of those either. I've got a couple of bags here. And I've got some in my drawers over there. But when I say some, I mean like maybe 4 of each if I'm lucky. If I'm lucky. So, let's have a quick look and see what these measure out to. $150,677. Oh, it's 149 to be exact, but 149,677. Let's see what we got for the other side. I'll take it. I'll take it. You know, I've never had luck matching. No, it wasn't these I had trouble with. There was one small transistor, I can't remember what it was, a TO92 transistor, and I ripped a whole load off of a couple of amplifier boards, and I was trying to get a matched set. This was when I was actually incidentally building this amplifier, and I couldn't find any. You know what? I think it might have been these. Yes. You know what? I know why I've only got 8 now. I smoked a pile of them, and then this was the dumbest thing I ever did. I took a whole load off of another board. I can't remember what it was, an amplifier, I think. And I kept the game matched ones in my amplifier, and I don't know what I did with the other ones because I can't find them in here. It was years ago, so I might have thrown them out. Silly me. I can't see myself doing that, so maybe I just smoked them all and this was the last set, but I do remember having trouble matching them. Now, I didn't have this tool back then. I was matching VBA only, so what have I done here? Alright, I'll get a couple of pieces of paper. I've always had luck matching larger transistors in general until recently when I went to match the drivers and the outputs for these 2 amps. That's where I've started running into problems. But to be honest, most of my transistors are board pools and ones that I've matched in a store or bought as pairs. So that probably explains why. And now I'm buying just batches of random transistors, I'm going to start getting a lot more that aren't matched. So it kind of makes sense why I'm a bit confused. But I'm not used to this. Not with the little ones. $676, $150. Well, I'll leave these aside. You know what? I'm gonna do something a bit different. I'm gonna bend all the legs so they're ready to grab with the easy hooks, whatever you call them. Oops. And then I'm gonna leave them sitting here so they can cool back down to ambient temperature. And then I'll come back in 5 minutes and we'll test them then. That way, the readings aren't skewed from my finger heat. I think it's a wiser option. I was thinking about using one set of 102.4s and three 206s and one set of these, like one for each amp, but those 102.4s and three 206s had such different HFEs, like somewhere around 80 and somewhere around 180, you know? So I think I'll just go for these. I mean, that could have just been a fluke that those two were matched. We won't know until we go through this whole pile that if they're all matched, but let's hope that they are. Because like I said, I'm shocked because other than recently, since buying large piles of transistors, I've always had good luck matching bigger transistors, and when I've gotten down to smaller ones, I've found like one would have an HFE of 120 and the other one will have an HFE of 300, you know? But it seems for once I'm in the opposite realm of things. My bigger transistors don't match and my little ones do. Alright, I'll go and I'll come back in a few minutes once these are back to ambient. Okay, let's do this. See what we get. Helps if I put a transistor on the leads first, doesn't it? What on earth is going on here? Right. Six, eight, one. Wish me luck. Look, I've just come up with a technique of holding two transistors at the same time. 151676. I might put this piece of paper off to the side like I did before. It's just a bit easier to have it on the flat table. One, 5, 3, 6, 7, 6. So far, two of them are basically exactly the same and one's different. Interesting. I'll have a look in a minute and see if they've got batch numbers. Oh no, they're all the same batch number. Oh, might help if you press the right button. 155679. 155, 680. I'll finish this off camera so I don't bore you guys. You know, I just went back to the beginning and started testing them. That one was 680, not 676. They're all 680 is what I'm getting at. This is how quick the temperature changes on these things. So these are all perfectly matched. I'm not going to even bother testing those last four. They're all 680 and they're all 151, 152, 153. So that, you know, should I really bother? It could be that oddball one, honestly. No, they're all the same. I'll just make sure there isn't one that's got an HFE or a VB that's way out. But if they're all coming in about 676, 680 for the VB and around 150 HFE, yeah, they're all the 680. Because since I've put them on the table, flat down, the flat surface down, they're all the same temperature now and they're all measuring 680. It's a good thing I thought to check that. I'm used to how transistors react with heat, so they won't catch me out like that. So we're up to 681 now. So I'm breathing over the area I'm at too. Like I said, I've warmed these up and that's transferring the heat into the transistor. And it all happens very quick when they're this small. You'd be quite surprised. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So let's see what the other side's like. Wow. Wow, I'm really happy with this. Let's see if they're all the same. VB might be a couple of millivolts higher. Like these are coming in at 688 and these ones on this side are coming in at 680 they were before. I know I've seen them go up to 681, so there is a bit of a difference between the two sides VB wise, which I don't like, but I think it'll be alright. That could cause a little bit of crossover distortion, but negative feedback will take care of that. Plus I'll have it biased enough. The bias will help. 6, 1. I'm just curious how much more variation there is at 5 milliamps with these smaller devices. Not much at all. Even with smaller devices. You don't usually see much of a change, I've worked out, with the higher test current, but I just wanted to have a look. Oh, whoops. I'm satisfied. I'm just going to have a quick look and make sure that these are all the same. Like, you know, there's not one that's got an HFE of 80 and a VBE of 520, you know what I mean? As long as they're all, I'm going to say these are fine. We'll just grab them as they are. I'm not really getting any appreciable difference in numbers here to worry about. It's when we come down to our Class A input stage, that's where we're going to need to, you know, be conscious of making sure that they're exactly matched. And that was a bit lower, 135. 687, I'll just put that there. $139. I'll just grab 4 that are closer to 150. We'll use them. 148. I think I saw another one that was a little bit lower, but Most of them are around 150 still. 141. 145. 139. 157. 140. 143. I'd rather have more gain than less gain. 146. All right, we'll go with those four. All right, these can go back in the drawer, and just random 4 from, whoops, this group. Bloody steel legs. I'll chop the legs nice and short because of that. All right, so that's the drivers. What I need to do is I put the ones I matched in here already, but I'll put them to the side for something else because I'm not using them now. I can't even remember how closely they'll match. I'll have a look at them off camera. Oh, whoops, these are going to go in there. So now we have our driver transistors sorted out for the correct voltage. Right, so that's the resistors decided upon, driver transistors. Let me pause and have a think about what we're up to now. All right, I've decided to go start drilling holes, so that's what I'm doing. And then we'll get to building this thing. Obviously, I'm starting with the low-hanging fruit first. I won't be too long. That only took me a minute. So I'll get these done and we'll start making them up. All right, so I've done the PCBs. So these top boards, I've only drilled 4 holes, excuse me, because I'm going to run some wires up from the bottom of the board. Everything else, you know, the couple of little 1/4 watt resistors and pots will just get tacked on the top, and the diodes get soldered from the top anyway. So those boards were very simple, only 4 little holes. The cap banks, you've already seen one of them, they're both the same. Now these 2 boards I didn't drill any holes on. Nothing on here is really heavy, so I'm just going to do it from the top. Also, I want to play around with different transistors and things. It's going to be easy to remove stuff that way too, so I'm going with that. However, for the output boards, even though I forgot to invert it so that the tracks are underneath the board, I still drilled holes. Not for everything, but the 5 watt resistors I've drilled holes for, the inductors I've drilled holes for, and where the big wires come up from the bottom of the board I've drilled holes for. Actually, I've still got to go drill 4 holes, 8 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, I need to drill a little hole that's smaller than that big hole, but still fairly big, for a wire to come up to these collectors. I forgot about that. I'll go do that and I'll be back. Yeah, and I've drilled the holes of the transistors because I wanted to. Let me just find which board lines up with what heatsink. So I think I can get this to line up enough. It's going to be a little bit fiddly. going to be very fiddly. Honestly, I don't think that's the exact board. That looks about right. Almost. Jeez. What am I stuck on? That pin, that pin. What? What on earth? I'm going to have to spend a bit of time getting all these pins exactly where they need to go. Otherwise, this is never going to happen. The holes are to the right size. It's not the holes. It's just a matter of lining it up. Yeah, I'm going to have to move all the pins. I'll go drill these 4 holes and I'll get these mounted to the heatsink and then I'll come back. And then we'll start assembly. Well, I think I'll upload this video, then I'll end the video once these collector holes are drilled. I'll end the video after I've done that and got these on the heatsink, and then I'll start an assembly video. Okay, well, I've worked out an easy technique to get these on, so that's good. Something I've just realized I wanted to do in this video also before ending it, because I just got those tip 41s and tip 42s today, I think it's a good idea if I grab them. My apologies, I should have had them ready, I know. I think we should do a quick test and see if we've got any similar ones. Ooh. These bloody mats with all their lumps, not good. Anyway, let's see what we've got, because I might have, you know, a different beta and I might be able to get a close match, or they might be similar. We'll see. Obviously, I'm hoping they're not similar, but one 5/8 647. I always forget to get a notepad when I'm doing this. 158 647 on the NPN. Our PNP side is, actually, you know what? I'll do this first. Be interesting to see what it reads on the heatsink, because we know they're all the same temperature now. 110 644. It's not too bad. It could be better, but I mean, at least they're matched to each other. Well, actually, let's see how well that came out. You can always see how shit or good your matching was after you get it on the heatsink, because it equalizes the temperature out really well between them. 109 644. So I'd say I did a good job there. Let's test the last NPN. I'm not going to bother doing both heat sinks. They were all about the same, and I picked the closest ones out of the bad pile that I had. Oh, God. 159 647. You can see I did a good job of matching out of what I had. All right, well, let's see if we have anything better. So Let's see if these are all the same batch. Yeah, they're all the same. They're not the same as my batch. Hold on. I know these are on semi. These are a completely different brand of device. Actually, you know what? These I'm a little bit suspicious might be fake. Yeah, different brand. Those are Fairchild. These are on semi. Well, I don't know. They might not be. We'll just take our luck, eh? I'm not going to pull apart any more transistors. So far, everything turned out to be real apart from that one batch of 2SC 5200. So, you know, there is that. Anyway, I've got two 42s and two 41s. One, 3, 4, 6, 4, 7 for PNP. Hey, no way. We've got good matches here. Hey, this worked out good. What did I tell you guys about me buying more transistors? It would work out, and it worked out. Hey, this is a lot better. Wow. Hell yeah. Oh, wow. My drivers are matched really well. My buffers are matched pretty well. My pre-drivers are going to be matched even better. My outputs are perfect. This is going to be really good. 647134, that's a PNP. One, 3, 5, 6, 4, 4. I'm curious. Let's do this. Will that fit? You know, I want to put them all on a heatsink so that they can equalize to the same temperature. 644. I'm just going to test that one more time, see if it is still 644. I think it was something different before, like 647 or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I mean, 644 is what we've already got in terms of VBE, but the HFE is so much closer to what I've got. You know, if I can find a whole lot that are like this, you know, that could just be one random one. We'll get an idea as we go through them. No. This is exactly like the lot I just bought before. They were all testing basically the same. And they are 647. Hold on. I think it's got something to do with the surface that it's touching. It's changing the temperature. Oh no, that is 644. Alright, well, that's 647. That's 135647. Let's test the NPNs and see what they are too. No way. 650. Dude, I've got really good matches now. I mean, not perfect, but it's fine. It was terrible before, now it's great. Hmm, 647. Okay. Well, my P&Ps were low in gain. Let's 41, 41. Let's go through, might as well leave them in the bags they came from, all of these. This was the one that had the 647. I'll go through this pile first. Let's try and find replacements for these P&Ps. Let's just make sure the other heatsink was the same basically. I've got to get used to pressing the button after I've hooked the leads up on this thing. I will one day. I've just gotten used to all the other testers where you turn it on and then you press the button to hit test after it's on. So yeah, these are all the same. Okay, this is awesome. You can tell when I'm happy, eh? Let's get to matching. Now I've got to change more transistors. It's just annoying because this heat sink's all buggered up, so I've got to, get a screw in there and a nut over that, and yeah, it's just a little bit of messing around, but it's all right. 135 644. Six four six, 136 646. That is. I'm just going to put them aside, and I only need 4 that are basically 647 VBE and as high HFE as I can get. 645, 644, 645. I'll go 646, 647 if I can't get, all 647s. I think this silicon's actually cooling them down. Oh. I mean warming them up, sorry. You know what? Let's do this. This is the wise thing to do. You get all sorts of useful tips and tricks on my channel, don't you? I am being kind of serious there at the same time as having a joke, but, you will. Alright. You know what? I'm just going to leave them for a few minutes. I'll come back. Alright, let's see how much further they are away now. They're going to be cooler on the heatsink, which means that number's going to be lower. But that's alright because it's more accurate testing, I guess I might not end up as happy. Wow. These are P&Ps. We're trying to match them to the NPNs. Oh, you guys can see that. And I've already chosen the lowest gain NPN ones I could because I had to match them to lower gain P&Ps. So as long as we just pick the highest HFE and ones with a VB of 647, I've got a feeling they all are. This is great. I thought that number was gonna oh no, wait, cold makes the number go up. What am I saying? Not down. I wasn't thinking. 646. Yeah, it's because I picked it up. It's already coming back up. 645. Interesting. Six, 4, 6. 6, 4, 7. See how temperature makes such a difference? Me just taking off the heatsink for that second like that. And I've got to hold it back down. Pay attention, guys. If you ever need to match transistors, I reckon this is probably the best method I've ever discovered. Because as you can see, it equalizes out the temperature. See? Let's go again. Alright, that is actually 646. So we'll leave that one. I only need another 2. You reckon I'll get it? I hope so. I've still got another packet too, so I think we're fine. Yeah, I could go through every single one and hope that I get some higher gain ones too, but you know, that one's over by 1 millivolt. 648. At least doing it like this, it might be annoying because it's taking a little bit more time, but I mean, look how accurate we are. We have all these on the heatsink. We know the VB is exactly 647, and now these ones are on the heatsink. We know, I mean, you can't do better than that. The VB is the most important thing to match. 646. I think me talking over it is warming it up. I'll just turn my exhaust fan on to keep the air moving here. Six. Maybe me standing here has warmed the area up enough, because I am noticing all these numbers are going slowly down. I'm telling you, it's temperature. Like, you see me lift that off the heatsink, test it, and it comes at 646. I'll leave it for a second. See, the number went up again by 1 millivolt. I won't be surprised if some of these 646s are the 647s. If we don't find any in this pile, I'm going to put the other ones on the heatsink and see if they're still 647. I got a funny feeling the temperature's just changed here by a degree or whatever, you know. Really? I think this is the temperature. Let's grab one of these, come back to the heatsink, and see if we get 646. So you really got to have a feel for this to get it bang on. And a heatsink apparently. See, 646. Alright, let's go get one more 646 and call it a day. I had a feeling that's what was going on. You could just kind of tell, eh? If I am wrong, I'm only going to be wrong by like half a millivolt, you know. I mean, these are maxed. It's a bit tricky trying to do this, but it is worth it for the results. Alright. Those showed 646 the first test too. If I left it longer, that probably would have increased a bit more. So they're all 647s. Wonderful, eh? Alright, well, I'll go change these transistors now. I've already got one of the boards back off this heatsink on the appropriate side, so I'll get these transistors changed now. I guess there's nothing else to really do in this video. I'm going to change those two transistors on each heatsink. I'm going to put these boards back on. The boards incidentally go on really easy once the pins are formed into the right spot, so they literally just slide on, so you're not missing anything. So I'll end the video here. I'll get these transistors mounted and then I'll get started on assembly. Alright, so if you like my channel, give me a like and a sub. I'm trying to grow, that's why I'm asking. And thank you for everybody that's helped me so far. Anyhow, I will see you all very soon. Very soon, because I'm going to continue working on this and keep recording. Bye for now.